All right, it's your man Brett from the Skateboarding Show, and I'm here with this special guest. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Robert Gurney.
Robert, you are the owner of this incredible bowl that we're at the moment.
Yes.
At an undisclosed location.
Well, yes, we're in deepest rural Devon, and it's a farm which now farms a bowl.
Farms the shred.
Well, that's one way of putting it. Yes, exactly. There is some shred.
There is some proper shred
sometimes.
Going on out there.
Yeah.
And you're a skateboarder.
I'm a skateboarder. Yes.
And how long have you been skateboarding?
40 years.
Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
48.
Wow. Okay. Right. Wow. So 40 years. So you started in 79.
78.
78.
Yeah. So 40 years last summer. Yeah, the sort of what I consider the first generation sort of British, but there was skating before that.
There was, but it took a little while in those days for it to come over to the UK from the States.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Well, I grew up near Wokingham, and there was a great, privately owned 70s style skate park with, loads of bowls. Some people remember it, but it got demolished straight after the boom, right. Unlike a sort of Rom or a Harrow or a Southsea that retains, but it was that ilk,
Right, okay.
Had a pool, funny coping, not that I skated it in 78, but we could go there as kids and just be left there all day, but I was kind of like one of the younger ones, so I kind of got turfed out of every bowl that had people in it.
Right, okay.
Just move around, but yeah, so it started there, and I still have a great love of the old stuff,
And do you still skate to this day? Because you were saying when you just had
skating just before you arrived. Yeah. I mean, it's good with the kids, but my age do like a bit more of a sort of relaxed warm up.
Yes.
Few
2 hour long warm up.
A few older geezers to push me, and 2 hour warm up, and then the 20-minute window.
I'm beginning to relate to that.
But I do love it with when loads of kids are just going for it and enjoying it. I particularly like to see people skate it for the first time and just see how they approach it and their lines and
Yeah, I can relate to that because
just opening up their kind of intuition to where it's going to take them. Are they going to do tricks? At that part of the bowl, are they going to just carve it up and then rip it later? Are they going to go mad straight away? Intuitive lines, and because there's a lot of weird lines. Sometimes you get a big group and everybody skates it differently.
Yeah,
which is part of the fun. Anyway, you just had your first. It's useless, isn't it? You just had your first.
You hold it if you want, or
I'll just try and remember.
I've had a couple of lines in there, and I can relate to what you were just saying because obviously I've got a local skate park and sometimes visitors turn up and they'll do something and you're like, why didn't we thought of that line? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like or oh yeah, I didn't really thought of it or. Why are you trying to do it like that? That's like, you're going to find that really hard. But crack on, because that's really amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my initial thoughts are really smooth.
Yeah, it's
really fast. Yeah, really well built.
Yeah, Opus are amazing, and their quality is, their standard is so high.
Yeah.
They just want to make it right. They want to make it skate brilliantly. They want to make it look good, feel good, and last.
I think it's definitely also, for me, it's got that feel of I'd want to come back when it's a bit quieter to concentrate on some lines and to really experiment.
Hope you will.
Yeah, well, thank you. I would like to. I'd very much like to. So I'm quite interested, without being too nosy, and it's quite a personal thing. How did you end up with a farm of this sort? Because this isn't a small bit of land, is it? And you've got a few buildings here. What?
It used to be a lot bigger. It was a dairy farm,
right?
Going way, way back. But it hasn't been a sort of working dairy farm for 30 odd years.
Right.
My predecessors turned it into a sort of beautiful wild garden. And I took on.
I'm looking out on some of that now. This way, right?
Yeah, and they built this greenhouse, and my intention was to dig and get some hands dirty and build.
Get involved.
Build the.
So did you buy it or did you inherit it?
I bought it. I've been looking for it for ages, and this just was the right place,
Nice.
It just worked. And where the bowl was a slurry pit for the cows, 2-tier, and it just fitted my shape and idea pretty well. I tweaked it a bit to shape into that space, but I met a local guy with a digger, and we just got to it. Loads and loads of people got involved, friends and friends of friends, and we just dug and shaped, carried on shaping.
And did it organically, did you have a clear vision in mind, or was it one of those things that sort of grew and became something as you were doing it?
Well, for a few years I'd been sort of planning a kind of idea that was more of a 3-bowl, slightly bigger, you know, your sort of dream kind of everything, and then you tweak it accordingly. And then, as I say, when I found this place, and particularly the space there, tweak the shape to fit that, and it's a bit smaller. But yeah, if you see the drawings, it's relatively close to those. It's just been tweaked a bit and pulled around a bit, and you know.
Like most things that I've experienced, photos don't always do it justice.
Yeah.
Photos sometimes...
Better to skate it, isn't it?
Yeah, because photos sometimes make it look a bit big, like almost too big. Like it looks like there's a lot of space between those things and it wouldn't quite work. And the second I got here and looked at it, I was like, oh no, it's not like that. It's perfectly fine. Yeah. It's going to work really well. And the second I got in there and skated it, I was like, yeah, this is all proportioned perfectly. This is no problem at all. You keep all your speed, everything's fine. Pump in and out of everything. It's all lovely.
It's nice to take that seriously. You know, the scale and the space and the transition sizes and the shape. You know,
and the concrete coping.
That's handmade. We mixed that ourselves.
Wow.
Hand shaped. A couple of the guys. So Opus, Ryan Alcock, Div Adam, John Beanhead, who a lot of people know from South Wales. Marlon, lovely guy who came and helped, and they were the sort of crew who did the concrete. But the digging just happened, as I say, over many years as we just, you know, shaped and shaped and shaped. But yeah, those guys are exceptionally talented, very, very focused, want to make a brilliant, you know, finish, want it to be as good as it can be. I think they don't hold back.
I think that's the beauty of having, you know, that we've been really lucky over the last sort of 10, 15 years that thankfully skateboarders and or BMXers are getting involved in skate park design and production, so that when councils, I know this isn't a council run place, but when councils go out there to go and find someone, they don't end up with some of these shoddy parks that we had to tolerate in the 90s. And I'm sure you've been around a lot longer. You've had to tolerate a lot worse over
I've been
many
loosely
years.
involved in the skate park industry for quite a few years, and very good friend of mine, a guy called Jeremy Donaldson, who was the guy behind the Wheelscape skate parks. He's now a freelance skate park designer, so he's done 130 odd parks. Right. So, you know, I'm involved in it in that sense. And obviously he's very well connected here, and it was me and him who worked on this to make it right. I mean, he's obviously a brilliant designer, brilliant architect, brilliant engineer for skate parks. So yes, I know what you mean. Last 10, 15 years, that landscape of skate parks has completely changed. However, the issue somewhat is that the designs can often be things that are made for not necessarily many different types of people, but they tend to be designed in a way that's to cover all bases. Unfortunately, sometimes that means you occasionally get, or more than occasionally get, designs which, you know, can be not necessarily generic, but they're not necessarily putting the lines and the sort of simplicity of the shape first and foremost, which is what I wanted to do. So I just wanted to do something that wasn't being done anymore, or really just wasn't being done. I don't know if this will, you know, change the landscape, but this is what I want to skate. Yeah,
because there's two things there. I get what you're getting at there. If you design something for everyone, then you end up designing it for no one, because it doesn't really work. That's trying to cover everyone means you don't cover anyone in the end.
Yeah.
But I'm also interested. Sorry, go on.
No. I was just going to say that you know, I'm a, you know, late 40s skater and want to cruise and carve, and everyone else can do their thing. Yeah, but that's what it's designed for. It's for me and my friends to do that. But guess what? The really good skaters
can adapt and change and make anything work in it. Yeah.
They'll be all right.
Because I was going to ask about that. You know, having started in '78, is there? I mean, I can see, but I'm also interested in your point of view. Is there a common thread that goes all the way from '78 right to this moment now?
There's loads and loads of influence. It's hard to, you know, pinpoint it, but there's influence in some of the way it skates, but also it's loosely a snake run. So essentially it's that kind of idea that you can roll around the deck You can roll in nice and easy, whether it's over the coping or over the roll-in. You can swoop around a bit and you can come back up and start again.
Without having to do tricks and stuff, you can just ride.
You can just carve it up, and you can
riding,
go downhill, uphill, bit of everything. It's got the mogul in the middle, which, you know, it comes from so many different places, that idea. But yeah, if you think of the moguls at Rom or the moguls at Harrow, that I skated a lot, say more in the 90s when I'd moved from my sort of, you know, home area. I was a bit older and just loved it. You know, loved the fact that you could just swoop around these amazing shapes. And when they were designed, people weren't really thinking like they are now. But they've still got a lot to give. But then you take designs like Marseille, where there's a, you know, some great curves in that, some great shapes, and there's a I call it the triangle, or the magic triangle, the volcano thing. It's a kind of triangular shaped mogul, and it's one of the centerpieces to that park. And I skated there a lot in the 90s. I used to live in France, so that was a big part of that. And then the transition sizes, and again, as you were saying, the scale, lots of those things are influenced by those old classics, you know. Not too big, not too small, big enough, bit of vert, you know. You want to get scared when you know, getting a grind in the deep end or whatever. You want to, you know, go fast, but also some, you know, cruisy carvy bits where beginners can just scoot around. People can go over the mogul and, you know, pump it, and, you know, fantastic skaters skate like a street bump, you know. Vert skaters come and do big airs, you know. People rip the hips because they're into hips. There's 3 hips. I mean, to sort of condense it, you've got the centerpiece mogul, you've got 3 hips. Start from those points and say, right, let's make wonderful bowls around those things. So the lines work,
nice, okay,
and the walls work. But yeah, there's modern influence as well. So like I say, Marseille. You could even say there's some pool influences, but it is not a pool. Obviously, it's much more mellow than that. It's much more open.
It's
combination bowls. You know, bigger vert bowls inspired it, and then a lot of what Jeremy did with Wheelscape. The big bowl wall is very similar to the Hastings bowl, which is a, you know, apart from the last 10 years, big open left hand, you know, bowl, similar kind of tranny, similar kind of size, and then we wanted to just make it well, so that whether you were going slow and cruisy, fast and hard, or whatever you're doing, you're going to be able to do something. But essentially, me and my older mates love it. The kids, you know, they all love it.
Do you have a family? Do you live here with a...
So I don't have a family, but I've got lots of, you know, friends' kids, my family's kids, godchildren, and of course half of them skate.
Yeah.
And the other half have either started skating or, you know, are probably going to start skating when they come here, you know. So yeah, I'm like the uncle with the
cool uncle.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've got a bowl, you know.
Without a doubt, you are the
and
cool
a mini
uncle.
ramp. I mean, the mini ramp was kind of just put in a barn because we had a barn to put it in. And you can, you know, skate when it rains, or you can have a little warm up.
Nice.
But it does get a little bit neglected since we've
had the bowl.
Yeah.
I can understand.
But no, I like people coming down. It's a garden thing. People come down and do a bit of gardening and have a skate, you know. And there you go.
Brilliant. Rob,
Simple.
thank you very much for your time. I understand you've got to go off and do something.
I've got to go.
It's a real shame. It would have been nice to see you skate, but hopefully another time.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Well, thank you. I will take you up on that invitation, most definitely.
Have a good skate.
Most definitely. Thank you. Rob, nice to meet you. Say goodbye, and we'll leave you to it.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.